welcome to the ESR GT4 complete pre-commentary, post-commentary.
It's a lot of commentary.
At the lovely early morning Hockenheim Monza.
Kyalami.
Kyalami.
Whoa. Let's not talk about Kyalami.
Somebody's sitting pole happy on Kyalami.
Let's not talk about Kyalami.
I am very attractive, and with me as always is the man who invented the latest musical craze sweeping the nation, Balinese Black and Death Polka.
That does sound like something I would come up with. I am Michael Magus, and it's GT4 World Tour time. So, ESR drinking game, as always, I'm in the race, I'm commentating. When I refer to myself in the third person, you gotta drink. That's how this works.
Everybody drinks all the time. That's how this works.
I mean, I can make that happen. We've got the qualifying coming to an end with Matt Higgs currently sitting on the pole at a Paul Riccobene. Rather surprised to see Paul Riccobene up there. That Chevy Camaro is not ideal for this track, and he's doing quite well in it. William Murrah, Dominic Turcotte, John Archie, Trevor Chaney, Jake Keckley. We have our first Ginetta of the season. The only car that had not made an appearance to this date is here. It is Jeff Wentworth in the Ginetta. And Max Simmons of the KTM, Guillermo Martinez rounding off the top 10. And coming across the line here at the end of the qualifying session is Diego Alonso. Oh, I thought he was coming across start-finish line. Nope, we're apparently a little further on the lap. So he's got one more lap to try to better his time. Max Simmons is also out there, along with Murrah, Turcotte, Hemian, Tony Yimbo, Arthur Belotti. We got a new face, Byron, Mr. Ellis. I forget his first name.
Is it Warren Ellis?
I want to say maybe Logan.
Warren Ellis, noted comic book auteur.
So we got him as a new face on the field, down in last place. But hey, we all got to start somewhere. I look forward to seeing him progress through the field like we've seen so many other drivers do. We, of course, were just here for 3D Speed, so this is a very familiar track to you guys who watch our commentary, probably. I don't know if that was intentional, but, well, no, I know it wasn't intentional because I came up with the schedule for 3D Speed after GT4 was up, and I didn't look at the GT4 schedule, so just a coincidence that we're doing tracks so close together. They're talking about it using Kyalami as a Formula 1 venue in the near future, so that'll be interesting.
Well, it is the finest track in all of the Maldive Islands.
I'd be surprised if they even have a track in the Maldive Islands.
I think the Maldive Islands are only about 3 feet wide, and they're pretty much underwater at this point. Matter of fact, I heard some statistic about if global warming continues and the ice caps are melting in glaciers and all that stuff, the Maldives will just be underwater in, I don't know, 10 years.
Be good for them to stop global warming then.
Might be an idea.
Stop the climate change. Somebody's moving the mouse.
Not me.
Somebody's typing.
I don't even know how to do that.
Chat is too quiet.
Dun, 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 dun. The session has ended. Well, that's been commentary for us. Have a good day.
Got another one to go. 40-minute race with a mandatory pit stop here for tires. And if you're not taking fuel on these pit stops, you're kind of silly.
I'm kind of silly in general.
I mean, that is your primary function if we're being completely honest.
You're not totally wrong. Although I did plant some stuff, so now I can grow things and be silly.
Got a long session start here.
Why does he wait so long to start the race?
Because this is where people are putting their last-second changes into their setups. Maybe hitting the bathroom, grabbing a beverage.
Might I recommend doing first, second changes and save on time?
I do remember watching one of the sim racers that I watch on Twitch go to the bathroom thinking he had 5 minutes before the race started, and it turned out he only had 2. And he had a wireless headset like myself, and his co-driver is yelling, "Get back to the rig! Get back to the rig!" And he's like, he just comes diving into the webcam to take the rig. Matt Higgs wants Cole McRae to reveal himself.
What do you mean, like whip his dick out?
I think he just means to get to the PC, but I mean, I don't kink shame.
Whatever you're into.
Whatever
I've seen
you're
Mad Max. If that was your, if you want to be strapped to the hood of a car and go high speed, I'm not here to say you're wrong.
I mean, if you're only hurting yourself, I'm fine with it.
Correct. Or paying somebody else to hurt you.
Well, I mean that you know, again, as long as you're not harming other people who are unwilling participants, you do you.
Maybe.
All right, that big Camaro on the front row looks. You know what? The Camaro's actually not that big. The Mercedes is about as big, so I take that back. It's not the super heavy tank that I'm used to thinking of it as. And here we go for the warm-up lap, the short warm-up lap here at Kyalami. So it will be the yellow and black and red McLaren 570S starting on pole with the blue Camaro alongside. That is Matt Higgs and Paul Riccobeni. Let's see what happens here. These are the two predominant championship contenders here in this series. And we're waiting for the green flag. We're waiting for the green flag. We're waiting for the green flag. Come on, Marshall. Send that green flag. There we go. We are off. The Camaro pulling even with Matt Higgs, but Higgs is going to have the inside line for turn 1. So Paul's got to get a really good overlap if he wants to make this work. And he backs out of it pretty early there. The McLaren will retain the lead, and in fact, I think one of the Mercedes might squeak through. That is William Murray in the Boulay Mercedes. And yes, Byron, there is a racing team called Boulay.
What kind of guns do they fire their Boulays out of?
I don't know. They're a French team, so I don't know if they have guns.
They are not allowed. You just carry the guillotine from course to course.
Indeed it is. William Murray up into second place. Riccobeni down to third. Turcotte, Archie, Keckley, Wentworth, Simmons, Seth Cheney, and Diego Alonso, your top 10. Who has dropped back? Because I am seeing some missing faces in the top 10. Looks like Trevor Cheney has fallen back to the back of the pack, so he has hit some problems. Somebody also started from the pits. I'm assuming it was Mr. Ellis. Which, you know, might not be a bad idea. I believe this was like his first semi-professional sim race, so not necessarily a terrible idea to eliminate the start as a problem. And we'll see if Paul Riccobeni can get back past William Murray in his Mercedes. The Mercedes is the top car in this field, in my opinion. I think it's the best GT4 in the game. Although this track, not so much helping them as John Archie goes off. And drops a couple of spots. Jake Keckley, Jeff Wentworth, and Max Simmons all going through. And we might also see Seth Cheney in the dark blue Aston Martin get up past the Porsche as well.
But what if they don't?
Tony Yimbo up into the top 10. Good for him. Diego Alonso has fallen to the back, so he's had problems. Yimbo looking to the inside of turn 1 against Seth Cheney. Cheney hanging in there, but Cheney's going to give up the inside line into both these next two corners. I like Yimbo's chances. And he is through into ninth place. Oh, so Byron, you're cheering for Max Simmons, I assume, because he's in your favorite car, the little KTM with the front end that comes off the car. That you saw.
I mean, so is there a button you can use to shoot that at somebody? Just the front end just slams into
that
somebody?
seems like something they should develop over at KTM.
I think so.
Guillermo Martinez in the... Oh, okay, so I think Guillermo Martinez lost connection and has fallen to the back of the pack. That would be someone who was missing from the top 10. Because I think he was 10th on the grid and vanished. So John Archie trying to run down Max Simmons and the Ginetta of Jeff Wentworth. That Ginetta is so very fun. It just has no engine to speak of. It is not fast in a straight line. But that is not going to matter so much here because, of course, Kyalami, one of the low-power tracks, very twisty, very much a driver track, a handling track. So some of the cars that are a little bit lacking in grunt and top end kind of get a little bit equalized here. It's a chance for them to shine. And I'm looking at the Audi for that. I'm looking at the aforementioned Ginetta. The Camaro can be a little bit more competitive here. The Alpine, which I've been seeing a lot of good things for Arthur Belotti, who's in that Alpine in 13th place. So let's see if he can do some things. Cliff Hemian running there in the Mercedes with Seth Chaney ahead of Michael Magus in the Audi. Trevor Chaney. I really need to get like a head-on camera view of the Audi because it has a ridiculous ride height. Like it is monster truck worthy in GT terms with how much ground clearance it has.
Monster trucks anyway.
Ah, if only there was a game we could do that on a reliable basis.
How come nobody's made like a straight up monster? That seems like a fun game that would sell. Get those fucking Wreckfest dudes to just make a monster truck game.
There was one back in like the 90s, I know, for the NES.
Yeah, well, I think it was
NES,
branded after Bigfoot, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was good. Me and my cousin played it a lot.
Just get the Wreckfest dudes to make a monster truck game.
That seems like an ideal idea. It's a shame that there's no really good rallycross games yet, because if we could get an ESR rallycross series going, you would, I think, love that, as Trevor Chaney takes 13th place off of Arthur Belotti in the Alpine.
Who's bloated?
Belotti, not bloated.
Oh, my bad. Belotti. Like beans.
Mm-hmm. Our token Brazilian for the day.
Wow.
Hey, he's the only Brazilian in the field. That makes him token.
What about the token Swiss guy?
Don't have any Swiss guys in the field. Actually, you know what? Bizarrely, I don't think we have any Swiss guys in the entire community.
What about that? I believe his name's Alan Prost. He's your boy Javier's favorite fighter.
By which you mean Javier's least favorite.
What?
Actually, I don't know. We'll have to ask Avi at some point. Who is his least favorite driver? Because it might be Alan Prost. But I'm not sure. And he's French, not Swiss.
Is Alain Proust just a big old dickhead or what?
So the deal is that Ayrton Senna and Alan Prost were rivals in the late 80s, early 90s. And and basically, because Senna died in 1994, we've kind of romanticized Senna. And as a result, his rivals are all get shit on. So no one likes Prost.
Wow, just because he's very neutral.
As I'll continue the story if Paul Riccobeni completes this overtake, and it looks like he will get past William Murr there for second place, heading into Mineshaft, and he's got it done. So the deal is, the whole thing started back in 1984 when, air quotes, Ayrton Senna was robbed of winning the Monaco Grand Prix because Prost and politics. The deal was it was raining really badly. And rain in Monaco is always a bit of a problem because part of the track is in a tunnel. So you have like this bone-dry tunnel section and this wet, outside section. So it's really hard to set the car up for the wet. And it was pretty dangerous. And Prost was winning. And Ayrton Senna was coming through the field in second place in a like tiny team called Tolman, which had never won a race, never gotten a podium at that point. So, you know, kind of cool. Everyone kind of cheering for Senna at that point. And then the race got stopped and half points were awarded. So Prost got the win. Now, there's a couple of things. Senna fans will tell you that Senna was going to win that race and that the FIA, which runs Formula 1, stopped the race to protect Prost. There are 3 problems with that line of thought. The first being that with the race being stopped and only giving half points, Prost scored less for the win than he would have for second place in a full race by 1.5 points. And spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched the 1984 championship, Alain Prost lost the title by a half point that season to Niki Lauda, who I believe you are familiar with, Mr. Niki Lauda.
He's the one that's really loud.
Mm-hmm. It was his 3rd world title. So literally stopping the race early probably cost Prost the world title. Second problem, Ayrton Senna's car, and this has been admitted by his team, was broken. The floor on the car was falling apart as the laps went on. So his car was going to break before the end of the race. And the third problem is that everyone talks about how Senna was catching Prost. Well, there was a driver in 3rd place who was catching both of them, named Stefan Beloff, who probably would have won if the race had gone the full distance. R.I.P. Stefan Beloff.
Shit's a wild dog.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, Senna dies in 1994, and therefore Prost becomes the villain in all the Senna-Prost stories, basically. Also, people liked Senna a little bit more. He was a little bit more personal. They called Prost the Professor, because he was very, very dry, very, almost humorless. Although he did make an appearance in the McLaren 50 animated series, where they basically got all the world champions of McLaren, except for the ones that had died, to do some voiceover work, kind of summarizing their championships. And he was pretty funny in it. Not as funny as Mika Hakkinen, because the story goes Mika Hakkinen, they dressed him up like he was Superman, like he had, like with a cape and so on, and he took one look at the drawing and he looked at the animator and goes, "It needs to be sillier."
Is there any reason why some genius didn't call Alan the Prostfessor?
Oh, that's a good one. No one ever did that.
Goddamn amateurs.
So actually, if anyone hasn't checked out the McLaren 50 cartoon series, go do that. It's actually it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. And it's nice to know that Prost and Hakkinen and Emerson Fittipaldi, who all did their own voices, were all they were all very good, like, sports about themselves. They let themselves be silly in the cartoon, which is good. And they got James Hunt, his son, to play James Hunt. So there you go. So Matt Higgs still leading. No changes in the top 5 since I started that story. Higgs, Riccobeni, Murrah, Turcotte, Keckley. Then it's Wentworth, Simmons, Archie, Yimbo, and Seth Chaney. So no changes in the top 10. John Archie is in the pit lane, so he'll slip out of the top 10. But we'll see what he can do. Ellis is down 2 laps, so problems for him. As we watch Tony Yimbo defend against Seth. Oh, Yimbo goes very wide. And that is going to let Seth Chaney through. And the Audi of Michael Magus would like a little sniff at the Mercedes as well. Gets a little bit wide, though, there. And that will probably limit him from attacking here into... I believe that this is called Sunrise. The turn. Sunrise or Sunset. I don't remember which. I do like that livery that Tony's got. The orange and the gray. I think that's a nice, unique combo. It's a bit BC Lions, Byron.
I believe that it may be a little bit St. Louis Krakens. Which probably doesn't exist.
Why is there no professional sports team called the Krakens? Like that.
Isn't
that
it
feels...
going to be the name of the Seattle hockey team?
Oh, well, I'm down for that. I'm gonna get me a Seattle Krakens jersey.
Pretty sure it is.
Okay. I like that.
Let me have. Yeah, they're the Krakens, the official Kraken website, NHL.com.
I'm still to this date surprised that this is the first time the NHL has gone to Seattle for a team. Like that just.
Well, I mean, they don't want money, so.
I've
They
always
don't want money or exposure for any reason.
I've always been confused about the NHL's expansion model, where like they're going to all these like Sunshine Belt cities and stuff that like you're like, why is a team here, sort of thing, and it's like, but you've never gone to Wisconsin or Portland or Seattle, like places that have A, snow, and B, actually play hockey. It took them forever to go to Ohio after they lost the Cleveland Barons. They now have the Columbus Blue Jackets out there.
The logo for the Seattle Kraken is pretty lame, though.
That's
it's just a blue S.
Oh, that's really lame.
Yeah, it's just a blue S. And it's got
please tell me that's like a whip. That's like a whip logo still. Like they're working on something.
Nope.
They got to be working on something.
Nope.
At least throw some tentacles on there.
Well, it's supposed to be, because you see the middle of the S right there. It's got a little bumpy, little wavy. That I think is supposed to be indicative of a tentacle.
It's a tentacle S. Okay.
So it's not good, and it's not done right, and it's very poor.
It's better than just an S, but
not much better.
It still sucks. So Archie and Cliff Hemian are your early pit stoppers. We'll see if they come through the field, and if they can make use of this time to put up some hot laps. Plenty of time left in the window. 15 minutes to go in the window. So the window will close at 10 minutes remaining in the race. So plenty of time. Matt Higgs getting a little bit wide there in the final corner, but continues to lead by about 1 second from William Murrah, who has gotten back past Paul Riccobeni into second place. And Turcotte, Keckley, Wentworth, Simmons, Cheney, Yimbo, and Magus, your top 10. Both Cheney's doing pretty well, currently in 8th and 11th. Wilhelm Murrah in second place for the Boulay. Boulay, one of the few racing teams that runs different cars, like different brands. In GT3, they're a Bentley team. Here, they're a Mercedes team.
And in GT95, they run Daihatsus.
That would be intriguing. They are both closing down Matt Higgs. He might want to consider getting in the pits, as they are coming up to, that is Skylar Castor in the BMW up ahead. Has handled his pit stop. And Murrah is pushing him through the corner, but kind of screwed up there, because now he's open to attack from Paul Riccobeni. Riccobeni will be held off for now. If I'm Paul, I'm thinking about getting in the pits, and he does. Going for the undercut. As soon as you start hitting like blue flag traffic, this is when you should probably be thinking about the pit stop. And Jake Keckley also in the pits in his Mercedes.
Good old Keckley.
Also in the pits, Seth Cheney. So 3 of the top 10 in. We'll see where they come out in relation to Archie and Hemian. Also, Arthur Bellotti takes this opportunity to pit. Shout out to Arthur Bellotti. He's a bronze driver who's racing one of the more challenging cars in the field, in the form of the Alpine. Tony Yimbo running in 7th place, looking back at Michael Magus and Trevor Cheney in 7th and 8th.
And 9th and 10th.
9th and 10th are quite a ways back. So Riccobeni has come out at the head of the pit stopping group. Keckley also beating Archie out of the pits. William Murrah going for the lead. See, I don't know about this struggle here for the lead right now, because these two need to be pumping out some lap times to cover off the undercut by Paul Riccobeni. Because if Riccobeni's in open space, and for all intents and purposes it appears he is, the battle here between Higgs and Murrah is just costing them time. This is a very confusing view right here.
Well, if you can't, you just gotta watch off the reflection of his visor, and then you get to see the whole race.
William Murrah is in. Matt Higgs is in. Let's see where they come out after the undercut by Paul Riccobeni. Michael Magus battling with Trevor Cheney for 7th place. Cheney in the Banana Mobile Aston Martin. Cheney ducks off and heads into the pit lane. So I'll elevate Yimbo and Magus to 4th and 5th place. Turcotte, Wentworth, and Simmons are currently still out there. Let's see who comes out with the effective lead of the race. Will it be Paul Riccobeni, Matt Higgs, or William Murrah? Looks like Higgs has beaten Murrah out of the pits, because it looks like he is rolling from the pit stop. His pit indicator going green well before Murrah's does. So he has jumped him, I think.
But what about his evil twin, Rick Polibeni?
Question is, did Paul Riccobeni jump both of them? And it looks like the answer is no. So the undercut not working for Paul Riccobeni. Six cars yet to pit, along with Guillermo Martinez, but Martinez is off the lead lap, so not really a factor here today, unfortunately. But it is Turcotte, Wentworth, Simmons, Yimbo, Magus, and Alonso.
Alonso morning.
Oh, you went right where my brain went. Wow, that's nice.
Well, there's literally no one else in the world named Alonso, so...
Well, there's Fernando Alonso, who's a Formula 1 race car driver.
He doesn't count. He's not a real person.
Well, no, why it always sticks in my head is there's a Game of Zones bit where they go to the island of Van Gundy's, where everyone is a Van Gundy, and at the end they sing them off with the chorus of the Van Gundys, which is to go Alonso Morning, and Alonso Morning comes to drag them away while they hug his leg, because apparently one of the Van Gundys during a game was dragged around by Alonso Morning because he was hugging his leg during a brawl.
Oh, I remember that. That makes more sense now.
That always makes me chuckle. There's a bit in that same episode where he's in John Wick. He's in John Wick 2, actually, so you might know him. Boban Mihailovich or Marinovich. I don't remember his last name now.
Maradona?
Big Serbian dude. They call him Boban the Giant, and he's on the Isle of Van Gundy's, and he's listening to. He's like sitting in front of a chalkboard where one of the Van Gundys has written, "Your strengths, you are tall." He's the guy that Keanu Reeves, John Wick fights in the library in the second movie, or third movie, I should say.
17th movie.
Third movie.
53rd movie.
Jeff Wentworth running in second place, still not pitting. Still 7 minutes to go on the pit window, so no rush. Michael Magus has gotten past Tony Yimbo. And into 4th place as they also run late into the cycle here. Although Magus lost almost 2 seconds on his best lap that last lap, so he might want to consider hitting the pit lane soon. But he also has a bit of fresh air in front of him. Let's see what the lap time is. 152.6, yeah, about 8/10 off, so a little slow. Seth Chaney overtaking... I'm not sure who that is. It's it's Ellis. So that is a blue flag scenario.
But I think the real question here is overtaking a great undertaking?
Yes. Max Simmons in 3rd place, up on the back of... That's Skylar Caster, so this is a blue flag scenario. Not sure why the camera's cut into it. Diego Alonso's in the pits. So only the top 5 yet to pit, along with the, unfortunately, not really in any battles here today, Guillermo Martinez. Technical issues at the start, robbing him of a couple of laps. And a bit of an awkward overtake there through the blues for Simmons, but gets the job done. Oh no! Drive-through penalty for Diego Alonso.
He's cut.
No, he's not cut, but he's gonna have to come back in the pits again.
Oh, okay.
Wonder what that was for, because usually it's a stop-go penalty if you speed in the pit lane. Wonder what he did. Simmons is gonna go for another lap. Max Simmons, always the king of the late pitters. Dominic Turcotte is in. So Jeff Wentworth has inherited the lead.
Is he the king of the armpitters?
Maybe. Cliff Hemian battling with Alonso, but of course Alonso has a drive-through, which puts Hemian in a bit of a weird spot here. Does he go for the overtake? Does he just wait for him to serve the penalty? Because Alonso can only stay out 3 laps without serving that penalty.
Me too.
But it also looks like Hemian is quite a bit quicker right now, which would make sense because Alonso's probably trying to warm up his tires still. The early pit stop has not worked out for Hemian. It looks like he's actually dropped back through the order. Mike Magus in, Tony Yimbo in. So that means it is Wentworth and Simmons still yet to pit. See where Magus and Yimbo come out.
Right behind you.
I would imagine somewhere around the Chaney brothers there. They were kind of in a Chaney bread sandwich earlier on with Magus and Yimbo filling.
The Chain of Fools.
Chain of Fools. Any Alice in Chains songs also would work.
Potentially. But unless they, knew what Alice in Chains were, just singing the song won't get the joke across.
That's true. It's true.
But saying the word chain,
yes, it does.
That's an instant link.
Mike Magus rejoins ahead of, that is the lapped car of Martinez. So it looks like he's come out ahead of Trevor Chaney. Behind Seth Chaney. So right back in the sandwich. Tony Yimbo has fallen back a little bit more. Oh no, he's behind Trevor Chaney. Pardon me, we got an update on the timing chart there. So lost out to Trevor Chaney. Jeff Wentworth is in, so Max Simmons has the option to lead a lap or 2.
Are they perhaps members of the Chain Gang?
Riccobeni has gotten past William Murrah. They are definitely members of the Chain Gang. They are Chain Gang for life. See what Murrah's lap time is here, since we're on board with him. And it will be a 151.086, so one of his better laps. As a couple of cars overtake Wentworth, who rejoins in 5th place. Not too bad. So Jeff Wentworth with that long overcut run overcuts Jake Keckley and Dominic Turcotte to move into 5th place.
Jeff Wentworth, worth winting for.
And also, it should be mentioned, he's going to have fresher tires down the stretch. Not that it really matters in a 40-minute race. These tires are easily rated for that kind of punishment. Oh, it looks like Turcotte and Keckley are actually ahead of him, so never mind, he did not jump them. But we'll have slightly fresher tires down the stretch. We'll see if he can turn that into an assault. That Ginetta is a hard car to overtake with, though, just because of its limited horsepower.
Remember, kids, use tire paste for fresher tires.
I mean, if you want fresher tires in your opponent, just race Martin.
Hey-o.
Because he's taking more life out of his tires per second than you are per minute.
Goodness gracious, get that boy at least a ColecoVision controller.
I've told him how to fix it. He just doesn't listen to me.
Do you tell him in Serbian, and therefore he can't understand what you're saying? Is that what you're doing?
I've told him on commentary and in PM how to fix it. Everybody knows what your problem is, Martin. Just accept it. Man has way too light of a wheel. That's the problem. When I was over visiting you and him, I drove his rig, and my lord, the complete lack of feeling in that wheel. Like, no wonder you massacre your tires.
Strap 3 bricks to it to fix your whole problem.
All right, so Simmons is in. Let's see where he comes out. Looks like he's going to be 7th place, maybe 8th. Depends how quickly he can get his tires up to temp and possibly fend off John Archie. Speed which, there is Archie, and he's gotten past Max Simmons.
Archie Bunker.
As Diego Alonso comes in to serve his drive-through penalty. He waited a while. Much to the chagrin of Cliff Hemian, I think. Someone is either banging on oil drums or shooting off fireworks. I'm not sure which.
I am doing neither of those things.
It's outside.
I'm not outside.
No, I know you're not.
I mean, I hope innocent of all charges. Your Honor.
I mean, honestly, I hope you're not outside my house, because if you are, why are you not knocking on my door?
Long microphone cable. That's what's up.
Michael Magus looking to get through. I think this is a blue flag. That is Logan Ellis in the McLaren. So getting out of the way again. My God, look at the difference in the ride height between the Audi and the McLaren. Whoa. You can actually fit under that Audi.
Well, not me, but people.
Probably not me either, but like a human could fit under it.
Let's see if Wentworth can fit underneath that. Wentworth!
Backing up and over Wentworth.
Just for measurement purposes.
Just for measurement purposes. They head through Crocodile and into Cheetah. Or is it Cheetah then Crocodile? I don't remember now. I know one of those is Cheetah, one of those is Crocodile.
Cheetah would be ahead of Crocodile because cheetahs are faster.
That would mean that they're more towards the end of the track, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Also, you're trying to apply logic to like turn names at tracks. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
And that's why they're all named Zyklon 37.
Possibly. Max Simmons trying to get back past John Archie. We'll have the freshest tires of anyone in the field.
So fresh, so clean.
found a song earlier today that I really need to figure out who does it because I want to add it to my Spotify.
Well, if I got you to sing it, I still wouldn't be able to tell you what it was.
I can't make out most of the lyrics in it anyway, so like it doesn't really. It's just the beat that I like. I don't really.
It's probably Creed.
It is not Creed. I'd recognize Creed.
Well, you can't understand them lyrics either.
Well, I can't, but they have a very specific
I'm 6 feet from some goddamn chicken.
And I'm big up. Maybe 6 feet is too far from the chicken.
Excuse me while I go drink half a bottle of whiskey. I'll be back for the next song.
Oh. As we pick up the race leader, Matt Higgs. This, I think, is where the replay section... So what happened is the last 8 minutes or so of the race stopped working. And the recording stopped working. And we've had to ad hoc the replay onto the end of it. And...
was this about Hockenheim?
We don't have a clock from this point onwards, so I don't quite know when the race is going to end.
Next Thursday.
I suppose I could pull up the race app.
That sounds boring and tedious.
And see how many laps were completed. That will tell us.
There were roughly 72,000 laps completed.
Roughly.
In a galactic sense.
In an extraterrestrial sense.
That's what I said.
In an expanse sense. In which case, where is that guy?
Disqualified. Too many hot dogs in the pit.
Oh. Two rounds left on the calendar. We go to Darlington Park and Spa-Francorchamps for the next 2 rounds of the GT4 World Tour. I have not done a race at Darlington Park in so very long, so that's going to be very interesting. On the flip side, Spa is probably the most racetrack in my repertoire, so that'll be interesting for a different reason, just because it's Spa.
Joke's on you. We're going to Spa-Beljosha.
Spa-Flemshaw?
Good old Flemish, the Flemists.
I've been watching Sharp again. This comes up because I'm at to the Prince of Orange episodes. It's so weird seeing so many actually future, like, you know, not at the time, but like in the future, high-profile actors just like randomly appear in Sharp. It's very interesting. So you got Paul Bettany as the Prince of Orange, for example.
Nice.
Daniel Craig appears in the early episodes.
What about famed actor Justin Bieber?
He does not, but as long as he dies, I'm fine with it. I have a feeling that Cole McRae may have been paid off by Matt Higgs to give us a long tour of Matt Higgs driving.
This may be the truth, but it doesn't mean we have to actually talk about him.
I mean, if he does things, we'll talk about him. But if he's just cruising out there, there's not.
Well,
really
he is driving in a straight line, somewhat.
Indeed. Did you enjoy the fights last night?
The 3 that I saw, yeah.
Some
I
good
should
stuff.
track down the Ben Rothwell fight. That looks like a fun time.
It was fun. It was the wild, wacky, enjoyable stuff that heavyweight produces. It was the best kind of heavyweight fight, which it didn't last too long, and they didn't get
wow.
it ended when they got tired. Or, well, more appropriately, Rothwell's opponent got tired. Rothwell himself looked like he was fairly good to go still. Ben Rothwell generally doesn't get tired.
Yeah,
that's
he's usually in good shape.
Outside of that one fight he had with Mark Hunt, which, like, you think Ben Rothwell, Mark Hunt, that's a banger. That's gonna be great. No, it was It was really bad. It turned into a wrestling match for like the last 2 rounds. Wasn't that good?
Oh, man.
But aside from that, Ben Rothwell, usually good for a fun time. Matt Higgs coming up to lap Skylar Caster in the BMW. The only BMW. I was expecting more BMWs, to be honest, in the to be fielded in this series, because the GT3 BMW is quite bad. And as a result, anyone who's like a BMW fanboy is kind of chased away from it, except for Javier Eugeni. So I kind of expected to see more M4s in this series, but just Skylar Caster is signed up in the BMW. I was tempted by it, but there were no Audis, so I signed up in the Audi.
If they were purchased by General Motors, would they become GMWs?
No, they'd probably keep the BMW name. I mean, it means a hell of a lot more than General Motors does.
Generally.
Also, I suspect they wouldn't move BMW out of Bavaria, which is what the B stands for.
And the other parts stand for jelly donuts and beer.
I mean, I'm down for that option. Bavarian beer and donuts. I'm good with that.
Hell yeah.
Why is that not a company right now?
We only do 2 things: jelly donuts and beer.
I'm fine with it. Well, we're still on Matt Higgs. That being said, not a lot happening throughout the rest of the field. Paul Riccobeni is in 2nd place, and William Murr is within spitting distance of him, but not too much is happening there. And then it's Turcotte, Keckley, Wentworth, Archie. Archie and Simmons are having a little tussle for 7th place. Hopefully we get that on screen for a little bit. Seth Chaney, Trevor Chaney, Michael Magus, Tony Yimbo, Cliff Hemian, Arthur Bellotti, Diego Alonso, your 15 cars on the lead lap. And then the unfortunate Skylar Caster, Logan Ellis, and Guillermo Martinez filling up the field.
Yoquero Martinez?
As, I believe this is Matt Higgs' final lap. Hig, whirl. Also, shout out to Jeff Wentworth, but it's a negative kind of shout out. Where's the flags, man? You can get flags on these cars. Want those proud nationalities showing. Except for the ones the game doesn't have. It's very random which ones the game doesn't have, to be honest. Poor Josiah Jerome has only 2 Caribbean flags to work with.
Dang.
He's either Jamaican or Cuban. That's all he's got.
He can become the new Red Scare.
He is doing Cuba, I do believe, in the events that he's doing in the Enduro. So there you go. Matt Higgs heading into Mineshaft for the final time, we believe. And then into Crocodile and Cheetah. Or Cheetah and Crocodile. I'm not sure which.
Both. Both are correct, depending on which way your car's facing.
This track used to be run in reverse, actually, so you're technically correct.
The best kind of correct.
I don't know what happened to the kink turn that gave me such trouble in Superbike back in the day on this track, but it looks like it's not part of the track anymore. Either that or I just don't recognize it going backwards. Like, that's the other option.
Well, what they did is they used just a plain old iron and they straightened it up.
Matt Higgs is your winner. Paul Riccobeni and William Murr were side by side across the line, but it appears like Riccobeni did get 2nd place. That's good for him in the Camaro. It appears like this will be more or less the end of the video, although it's probably just us looking at a stationary Matt Higgs. Alrighty. Let's give him the rundown, shall we? So, indeed, Matt Higgs was your winner from Paul Riccobeni, William Murrah, Dominic Turcotte, Jake Keckley, Jeff Wentworth, John Archie, Max Simmons, and the Cheneys, Seth ahead of Trevor, Michael Magus, Tony Yimbo, Cliff Hemian, Arthur Bellotti, Diego Alonso, Skylar Caster. It is Logan Ellis. I was right. And then Guillermo Martinez. So the championship standings heading into the second to last round, Darlington Park. And this does include dropped scores. Matt Higgs and Paul Riccobeni are tied at 264 points apiece at the top of the standings. Very close battle. Dominic Turcotte on 252 and William Murrah on 252. We have a tie for first and third. Wow. That is that's going to come down to the wire. Then it's John Archie on 246, 234 for Jake Keckley, 204 for Cliff Hemian. Jeff Wentworth is on 198, 189 for Tony Yimbo and Guillermo Martinez, and Michael Magus even on 180. That's your top 10. Rick Martel leads the bronze category with 171. Ahead of Trevor Cheney on 198 and 159 for Diego Alonso. And in the silver category, it is Jake Keckley, 30 points ahead of Cliff Hemian, Tony Yimbo rounding off the top three. We're off to Darlington Park next. And Byron, do you have any final words?
Buy low, sell high.